So at HP, we have a very large sales organization, about 20,000 strong. And when you think about the simple tasks of getting ready for a new year, and you've got to make sure that you're using every dollar of your field selling cost most effectively, for us, that's a pretty big challenge. How do you, in 170 countries, make sure that your sales design is optimized before somebody presses go on the start of a new year? Because once you press go, it's very difficult in an operation of this size to ever turn back. Before Anaplan, we were always looking at what actually got deployed in a rearview mirror that was usually 90 to 120 days later. And that's because it was completely manual. This was a spreadsheet run exercise. And by the time that all got rolled back up and people corrected minor errors along the way, we were usually at the beginning of Q2. So in order to understand the context around Anaplan, it might be interesting to understand the transformation journey that HP's on. We're transforming the company, and one of the ways in which we're doing that is by transforming the applications, the services, and the infrastructure that drive HP. For us, that involved a very big consolidation project. We went down from 7,500 corporate applications down to significantly less than 750. And in the process, we went to the best-in-class next-generation version of every category. So for us, it was incredibly exciting, but also a really big deal to be able to step into what we consider to be the best-in-class quota and territory management application out there. As we took a step back and said, why jump into a system like Anaplan? It really falls into three fundamental buckets for us. The first is the one we already talked about. When you start the year, you've got to make sure that you're interlocked around both your design and the way the design is deployed, as well as your number and the way that your quota is deployed across all the roles in your model. So interlock and starting the year faster and knowing what's getting deployed before you deploy it was really the first critical value proposition that we were attracted to in Anaplan. The second is execution. Once you start the year, things change. Starting on day 2, things change. Salespeople come and go, quotas get adjusted. Sometimes the company adjusts the number because of currency fluctuations. A whole host of things change the second the year starts. And those things in Anaplan are eminently easier to manage and control, just like starting the year and executing the first interlock around deployment was easier. I would say the shiny light for us was really the third area, which is optimize. What we saw was that once this all got into Anaplan and the analytics capability that Anaplan brought to the table would allow us to all of a sudden get insight from our model, from the data that sat in Anaplan, and tell us things about what was working, probably even more interesting, what was not working in our model, that would allow us to make changes that we never would have discovered or uncovered without the insights that we can get from the Anaplan engine. So this cycle went very quick for a project of this magnitude. It was really built around ecosystems of stakeholders. In order to get to initial deployment, our IT team, our sales ops team, and the Anaplan team worked incredibly well together and probably did a project of this size faster than it's ever been done. We have deployed our first year in Anaplan, and it went great, and it went better. I've been at HP 8 years, and I've never seen a start of the year like we had this year thanks to Anaplan. We're now in the phase of optimizing what we think we want to deploy and interlock around next year. So at some point, this is just a cycle that starts over every year. And for us, we are really living the Anaplan life cycle. I'm Sue Barsamian, Senior Vice President of Indirect Sales at HP, and my sales plan is powered by Anaplan.